I'm sorry, my cat really wants to show his butthole today, and I just won't allow it.
Look, more...
Not until we have that
Only
OnlyFans.
And that's the
Only
intro,
pause.
everybody.
Yeah. Welcome to the show!
Brie literally said that as I hit record it, so I'm keeping that in.
Whoops.
Amazing.
I was going to make a joke about us rescuing Brie from Canada, but I feel like this is more appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Is it rescuing or dragging back, kicking, and screaming?
Depends on the level of injuries we have. Anyways, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Internet Friends, the episode where Brie's cats show their butthole and we
For
wish we
free.
weren't in the United States anymore. I mean, they're going with the Twitter model, right? Where like you show everything that's pretty much on your OnlyFans on your Twitter, and you try and convince people to buy your OnlyFans where you post less of your butthole for some reason.
Yeah.
It works, so.
It's
Apparently.
getting my money.
Exactly. Off to a roaring start.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is just indicative of how our weeks have gone. We've just like gone straight into just mine in the gutter.
Yeah.
Straight to buttholes.
Oh boy, that's the title of my memoir.
I would pick that up.
Good. I'm glad.
Do you want me to sign the forward or, you know?
That would be great, actually. I'd really appreciate that.
So when I first met Seth, the first thing I thought was, this person does stuff with buttholes.
Beautiful.
Anyway, so how have you guys been?
Drunk. This week has been hell.
Been a lot.
I like how
Been a
in the
week.
pre-show I was talking about my alcohol habits.
Yeah.
And you're just basically, yeah, same.
Yeah, same. Very same. It's been a rough one.
Yeah.
Too much going on, too much world news, and it is exhausting. And I would like to not hear. And also, man, I'm getting a lot of political texts, and I hate it so much. And I found that they're like the Hydra, you know? If you block a number, they will come back with 3 more numbers, and then just be like, oh, we noticed that you haven't done XYZ. And I was like, please leave me alone. I already don't want to think about this.
Yeah, it's like, look, I'm registered to vote. I will be at the polls when they open, and I don't want to talk about it.
I really don't. I really don't. Please. Oh.
Yeah. No, I like how literally we were mid-show last week, and then basically everything literally popped off.
Yeah, this whole
In the
started
worst
while
way.
we were recording.
In the worst fucking way.
I think
Nothing's been good.
I think I got a like push notification from AP that just said like shots fired at Trump rally, and I dismissed it immediately. It's just like, yeah, you know, it's a Trump rally. Of course, somebody like, you know, brought a gun and shot it like in the air or whatever. And then like as soon as we got off the show, you see everything else happening. I'm just like, fuck.
Ugh.
That's crazy. We have such good like gun regulation. That's like nuts that happened, you know? Like so bizarre.
I know, it's wild. You can't get a gun anywhere here.
No,
Mm-mm.
definitely not at my apartment.
Yeah.
Not in Indiana, 15 minutes away for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not even.
It's like, you know, you have too much gun regulations in Chicago. I wonder why you guys have a problem. Oh, it's like
Yeah,
I could
that's-
just go 10 minutes that way. What?
I don't think people realize how close Indiana is to us.
Yeah,
like
no.
it is like a day trip at best. Like it is so close to us,
Yeah, it's
and
like-
they do not care.
Nope.
So-
No.
I think there was a show I watched back in the day, and like they had like a bit about like somebody just like walks in and is just like, I want to buy a gun. It's like, all right, here you go. Like no ID check, no whatever. I'm just like,
I almost want to test it, but I don't want a gun. It's the problem. I'm just like, I'm gonna end up with a gun, and I don't want that. But I'm like, I bet it could work.
tell you what, I'll like go there, but like have them ship it to me, and then I just have another gun. It's fine.
Okay, but I'm getting a pink one though. I hope that's okay.
That's fine. It could be M's.
Perfect.
Also, you
I
think
don't want one,
also,
but it's
you
got to
think
be aesthetically pleasing
I
if
was
I
about
do
to say,
have one.
Yeah.
also,
Yes.
do you think I wouldn't carry around a pink Glock? I absolutely
I-
would.
I love that for you.
You realize
honestly.
how emasculating it would be if I ended up having to shoot buddy? It's like, you just got shot by a guy with a pink Glock. Congratulations.
Barbie pink, absolutely.
Anyways, we're not a political show, just so everybody knows.
No. But we're
Allegedly.
getting closer every week.
It's hard. We're really trying. We don't want to talk about this, trust me.
Brie, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired. The world's been exhausting.
Yeah, I was about to say we all seem a little punchy today, just a
Mm-hmm.
little bit.
I this is just full of Monster, because it wasn't cold enough, and I am just like, and I would, if I could inject it into my veins, I would, because I am just exhausted.
She
but
also
that's
isn't
okay.
mentioning like the half gallon of tequila she poured in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
And the 6 lines of cocaine that are laid out in front of her.
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
The reason the microphone is so close to Steph's face is because he's snorting lines off of it.
Yeah.
I love that.
This is the most chaotic opening that we've
And
ever
we are
done.
4 minutes in.
And I,
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier.
Absolutely, same.
So, anyways, that brings us to our opening topic, which is the homework assignment from last week, which was Transistor.
Yes.
So this is a indie title from Supergiant Games, who has kind of become a very trusted name in indie video game development. I bought this game way back in the day. I remember first seeing it and just the art style itself sold me on it. I played Bastion way back in the day, which was their first release. And I never got around to actually going through the entire game, so I wanted an excuse to play it. And yeah, I didn't realize how far I actually got in it before.
It's a short game.
It's a very short game. I literally downloaded it off Steam. It still had my cloud save. It's just throws me in. It's just I don't remember half of what I've done. I need to figure, and it took me actually probably longer to figure out how to start a new game than it actually took me to beat the
That is
game.
confusing to do, by the way. Very confusing
Oh yeah,
to
no,
do.
I had to Google it. I had to Google literally how to start a new game. But anyways, what'd you guys think?
I enjoyed it. I liked the art style. I liked the music a lot. I can't tell you what the story was, but it, I enjoyed it.
Brie?
I wanted to mention, because I was mentioning the pre-show, that I had kind of a slightly funny story about this. So when you assigned this homework, I was literally just about to travel, and then I was traveling, and then I came back to a lot of chaos. I was like, I don't know when the fuck I'm gonna play this game. So I was like, that's fine. Allegedly, the Switch is very transportable. So I brought it on the plane with me. And I played it on the plane on the way back from where I was, and I did not have sound, and I did not have subtitles.
Ooh.
So I had no fucking clue what was happening, and I was dying constantly. I was like, this game's confusing. I don't know what's going on. And I played for an hour and a half, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and restart this, because I don't know. I'm lost completely. And then yesterday, I booted it up on my TV with subtitles, with the music playing, and I miraculously figured out how to start a new game. And makes a lot more sense. Let me tell you. I did the combat was much easier when I understood how to do it. So, but
It is a very interesting combat.
Yeah.
Whatever word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I found
I like a lot.
Sorry,
there,
not to interrupt.
No, you're good. So there was kind of a couple of points that you guys brought up. One is the plot of this game is it throws you in literally right away. It's just you have no idea what's going on. You don't know who anybody is, what's kind of stuff. And you never really 100% figure it out even by the end of the game. You can kind of put together pieces, but it is very much a what the hell is this game? What's happening? And so I can only imagine, Brie, you playing it with no sound.
Or
No
subtitles.
subtitles.
And taking away literally half of literally what makes the game great. I'm trying to imagine playing this game without having the music playing, and just that just sounds like hell.
Well, that's my partner is like, oh, the music's so good, right? I was like, I don't know, I haven't heard it. So he's like, what do you mean? So he's like, yeah, don't play the game that way. It's also very hard to see in handheld. This is not a game you could play handheld version on the Switch, because it's so small. I had everything against me at the beginning, but once I figured it out, I agree that the combat's really interesting for this. I was kind of afraid that it would get easy, or that it would just because it's you pause and then you can kind of attack from there, which is super fun. I haven't really seen that a lot in games, but it was actually very strategic, and made me think a lot about combat before I went into it. And I will say the style kind of reminds me of Arcane a little bit. I don't know if anyone else got those vibes.
I got that vibe, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's definitely some of that influence in there. Yeah, the funny thing about like the combat, I think it's like almost like anti Souls like in that you can still kind of progress through the combat even if like you're kind of struggling through it, or like you clearly like I constantly felt like I feel like I'm not doing this in the most efficient way possible. I feel like I'm
Hmm.
constantly doing something wrong, but I'm still succeeding and progressing. Whereas like a lot of games these days make it to where it's just like no, like you have to do this the exact right way, otherwise you're just gonna get boned completely. And you do get
Hmm.
better as time goes on, and as you pick up more and more abilities. And I like how you can combine abilities in some ways. Like
Yeah.
one of the favorite things I like to do is like have the cluster bomb tied to the ability to change people over to your side, and like that
Mm.
makes it to where it's just like okay, anybody who surrounds me is going to start fighting for me, and like all that stuff. But it is nice like seeing like a combat system that doesn't punish you for like not knowing what you're supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
I felt very punished when I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
There was a lot of times where I was like, I'm just tanking damage because I haven't figured out this enemy type yet.
yeah,
I'm just.
yeah. No, it's definitely yeah, like the combat style is very, very interesting. So a little kind of background on the game. So, the developers, Supergiant, they're all former EA developers who basically pulled the like, what if we just like ditched and started our own studio? And they've put out bangers ever since they started doing that. Because Bastion was a very big success. This one actually was very critically acclaimed, and then they've done Hades, which is
Oh, okay.
everybody's favorite bisexual game. Uh,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Emily's been playing it when she's not, failing another honor run in Baldur's Gate. Uh,
The other bisexual
yeah,
game.
the other bisexual game where she only ever like tries to romance the vampire twink because she has a type.
He's hot. He bites you. I get it.
But no, like it's kind of interesting, and so I sent you guys a documentary thing. I know Brie, you said you didn't get around to being able to watch it, but I was kind of talking about
I
the
saw
making.
part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, part of kind of talking about the making of this game and it being their follow up. The Bastion one that they did actually is really interesting because they talk about like the origin of the studio. But what I kind of took away from it is just like I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with indie games over the next like 5-10 years, because we've been seeing so many big AAA studios get shut down and layoffs and everything. And some of those people are going to move on and like go into like info security at like big tech firms and whatnot, but some of them are going to probably stay in the gaming industry, and I hope a lot of them kind of go this route of just like fuck it, we're just going to start our own thing. Like we don't need billions of dollars backing us, we just need enough creativity to get stuff going. So I kind
Yeah.
of like wanted to get your guys' thoughts on like kind of like what an indie studio is capable of, as opposed to like the soullessness of a AAA studio.
Well, they probably have more time. They're not under the crunch
Yeah,
that AAA studios put, so they end up being able to put out a much more polished product than what we're getting out of AAA studios right now.
that's true.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, Supergiant Games is actually known for that because I know one of the big, like, granted, Hades is a great game, but that game was made without any crunch time. So like, which is awesome, like especially in the industry where people are doing like these ridiculous shifts and then they're working so hard for these AAA games just to get laid off a couple months down the line. Like, obviously I'm hoping that this is kind of the model going forward because it just like I don't know. I'm very ride or die for indie games because there is so much heart in those games that AAA games just don't have anymore. Like we talked about this a couple times. We're just like I look at the upcoming releases for AAA games and I just don't fucking care. There's nothing that still draws me to that at all. There's no reason to spend that much money on a soulless game that they're just going to keep pumping out year after year. And I know for a fact that they treated their employees shitty. Like I can't think of any studio that I know for sure that creates games like that where I know the employees are treated well. And I think the more educated we're getting about like working conditions, I think people are going to go more away from that all the time because I would rather consume a product that I know people put a lot of heart, a lot of soul into, and we're treated fairly and paid properly. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes from the fact that these are former EA devs who did who definitely came from that culture in that era of just like
Mhm.
you had to crunch, you had to like pull the all-nighters and get something out, like, and all that other kinds of stuff. And like they were there kind of before EA lost all of their soul. They had already like sold off like most of their soul, but like they still kind of had some of it. And so, and you know, even indie devs sometimes do talk about like, yeah, we crunch, but like it's when I'm the one who's making the decision to crunch, it's different than when I have big corporate daddy over here telling me I have to crunch.
Yes.
It
Mhm.
is different for the mental health side of it. But, you know, especially because I think when they did Transistor, they were only an 8-person team.
I think that sounds right from the documentary.
Yeah, so when you consider like 8 people made this game, like that's
impressive.
nuts. I don't know
Yeah,
how much
very.
I don't know how much they've grown since obviously with Hades, because Hades was such a big hit for them.
Mhm.
And since they were already coming off of Transistor and Bastion, I think they have another game that came out in between that, but I'm not 100%.
Subway Surfer.
It, hey, they need to bring in money somehow.
Yeah,
Gotta
right.
get those microtransactions, baby. But no, like it's one of those things where it's just like, you know, as I go on and like now, like I am enjoying playing more indie games because they are shorter, they're less of a time commitment. There's a lot more creative ideas happening in them, whereas, you know, AAA games are very much just like we got a lowest common denominator, like it has to appeal to the most amount of people. Got to get that, you know, Call of Duty, you know, headshot, like constantly
That
tweaking
Fortnite
stuff.
money.
Yeah, got to get that money. And like it's like I'm just hoping that, considering the climate is now, as we're seeing more and more people who are clearly talented enough to work at these big studios no longer working at those big studios, I'm hoping, you know, at least most of them will be able to move on and like do something way cooler than what they were doing before.
Yeah. The sword talks. That was my first note.
Well,
I like his voice. He's got a handsome voice.
well,
He does have a great voice.
I like that kind of piggybacks off. It's just like, man, the art direction in this game is incredible.
So good. Yeah, I was really impressed. And actually, what I did see from the documentary was that they originally intended this to be a male protagonist. So I was like,
Yeah.
even that is kind of a gamble. Like, there's not a lot of AAA games that have female protagonists fucking still. And even when they do, it's like Horizon Zero Dawn, where they got a ton of fucking shit for that, unfortunately, especially because, you know, she has like skin texture and women aren't allowed to do that. That's not allowed.
She's not shaped
No.
like a Playboy model, and she wears clothing that makes sense in the environment she's in. Weird.
Icky.
Yeah. How dare they?
I've never seen a real woman, but I'm pretty sure that's what they look like. So.
Yeah. All women
Hey,
are just
Laura
sex
Croft
objects, right?
had big tits. They should all have big tits.
100%.
Look,
All women are built that way.
Like, look, if we're going to make that the standard, then all women need to have like the triangle, like Madonna boobs.
The shelf.
And that's going to be the standard. That's the ideal woman right there, guys.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here first.
But no, like, yeah, no, they talk about it in the documentary, you know, that decision to kind of like, what if we did this instead? And, you know, yeah, you know, they were willing to take those risks and those gambles and just do things differently. And they even talk in the documentary about like, originally we were thinking this, but then we were just like, screw it, let's do this instead.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just like, that does not happen at AAA studios or really any kind of like corporate level. Like, it's just like the lowest risk we can take, the better.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, especially considering like the original plot point was just fridging the female character right away. I
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah, AAA studio would fucking love that. We love fridging.
Oh yeah,
That's
they
so
eat
fun.
that shit up.
It's so great.
That's our
That's what women
favorite trope.
are. Sex or die.
It's just like, I don't know what this guy's motivation is for doing this. It's like, what if we just killed his girlfriend?
Yeah, there we go.
That always works.
Fuck her, right?
Anyways, getting back to the art of the thing, just, it really is like, I kind of like, going back to talking about the gameplay actually is like the thing I like least about this game. I mostly just like looking at the environments and the art and listening to the music and the soundtrack and everything. Like, it's just so good, especially like the scenes where like she's on the cafe racer motorcycle against the skyline. It's just God,
Yeah.
I love that frame.
That was a cool frame. when
It's,
she's like
it's pretty
flying
old,
onto
yeah.
things.
It's a little over 10 years now.
Okay, because I was gonna say, it's like speaking of combat being like the least favorite thing, I do get that, especially because that's where I got the most like frame rate drop when I was doing any sort of battle, especially like the first fight with Sybil. There was a couple times where just like
I was actually
boom.
curious about this. How did it run on the Switch? Because I played it on PC.
It ran okay, and again, I think it was mostly combat where there was a lot of stuttering, a lot of
A lot of
frames
particle
dropped. So
effects, so like it's taking up the most
yes, it
like
wasn't a
resources.
ton, honestly. Like I was only because I was like playing this with a very critical eye. I noticed it. I don't think it was like game breaking by any means, but it is definitely noticeable. But yeah, no, it was fine. Again, impossible in the handheld. Like it's just too quick of a game, and it's
Yeah.
too like small because it's already like top down. So have to play it on a big screen. It's the only way.
Well, yeah, I was kind of curious also because when I first started playing, I was trying to play mouse and keyboard on it, and like basically learned just like, is this supposed to be played on a controller? Like
Yeah.
just like all the other kinds of stuff, and then like once you kind of figure out, and like the thing is just like I was trying to stay in real time for most of it, and then I was like, no, that's not the play, kid.
Yeah.
Like you need to be doing the turn-based thing, and the basically all you're doing when you're in real time is just running and setting yourself up for the next turn-based thing.
It's very
that
hard if you
dash
just do
move
it
was
that
so
way.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
fast-paced in the real-time ones, and so yeah, it does make a difference.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so
The only time I had any stutters was when I would do the jump move too many times when you're just walking around the world and she throws the sword up and then jumps. I would get 3 of those and then the sword would be like, "Kick, kick, kick."
and you were
That's
also
a bummer
playing
because
on
that was
Switch,
fun.
right?
It was. Sorry?
And you were also playing on Switch, or were you playing on PlayStation?
I had PlayStation.
Okay, that's interesting because you would think for a title this old it would run pretty okay on that hardware.
It was cool though. Every time the sword talked, the lights on the controller would blink with the sword.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Oh,
that
that's
was
nice.
a neat little, and also the speaker, it would talk out of the speaker, but they've been doing that on games for a long time.
Yeah,
It was
but
just
it's cool
neat.
that they optimized it to be able to do that on a platform that wasn't even existing
Yeah,
when this
true.
game was made. So that's really really cool. Kind of talking a little bit about the story. We talk about how like it is a little throw you in, don't know a whole lot what's going on, but like I think the main theme that I took away from the story is like, and again, this is maybe a little ahead of its time, Tech Bros going a little too far.
Yeah.
Because like it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, is this gonna be the Elon Musk is like, oh, perfect world utopia technology thing? It's like you realize you're just killing everybody, right? You're just committing a genocide. You get that, right?
Yeah.
You got that? You realize what you're doing, bud?
The
But money,
Cybertrucks will
though.
kill us all.
But money though, number go up.
Number go up.
Number go up until you kill yourself in your office because you're scared that the robots are coming after you.
Uh-huh.
Hey.
And then your soul gets absorbed into a sword.
I mean, if my soul could get absorbed into a sword, that's actually the preferable way for me to die.
Okay.
Like if I'm
Kinda cool.
gonna go out, like I'd rather be like have my soul go into a sword. You think I want to go to heaven?
No.
Oh, we got dark so quickly, friends.
I thought we started
we always-
dark.
Yeah, we started pretty dark.
we kicked the door open on that.
You're right. You're so right. I did like the music now that I heard it. It's pretty good. Especially like the very beginning is a lot of like lo-fi vibes, which I am a huge fan of anything lo-fi. Sounds very, very good. And all the actual vocal tracks were really pretty as well. So I was very impressed with that. I to your point, I was like, the combat was fine, but yeah, I feel like just like walking around the environments and just listening to the music was just like very nice. And also like a very small detail, but I like how much the sword would interact with you in terms of like there's at the very beginning you see a poster of Red and he's like, oh well, you could turn away from this, and if you stay there he'll be like, you can turn around, please turn around. I wasn't paying attention, I was on my phone, and like he's like, please turn around. And I was like, oh whoops.
Please. We've got to get to the plot.
It's like how idle animations used to be, where if you just stood around too long, you just like fall asleep or do something like that.
I love that. Those are like tiny details that again I think indie games are a little more known for, and I just really appreciate that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
I also liked when you would go into the time freeze mode, the like humming that the main character would do during that period was always really haunting.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially considering like, the main plot point is like she doesn't have her voice anymore.
Yeah.
And so like, and they talk about it in the documentary specifically about like kind of the decision to make to like when you're in turn voice mode, like that, like all she can really do is hum, which is like the thing that she's able to do. So really cool details, a lot of really great stuff. But yeah, my main takeaway is just like, having to go through gameplay just so I can experience more of like the art and music and the direction of the stuff as opposed to anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I can't wait to actually beat it because I did not, but it's really good.
Oh, you didn't finish it?
I didn't have time to, unfortunately. Like I'm about 2 hours into the game, but I know it's only about 6, so I think I could knock it out pretty quickly. I was about to say,
you said you fought Sybil, so that means you're about at the halfway point.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, so the joke I made, that's a big spoiler that you haven't even gotten to yet, is it?
Well, then I wasn't listening.
Okay, good.
All good. The game's very old. I think spoilers are kind of past the point. You're totally
that's fair.
Yeah, that goes to kind of my policy on spoilers. Like, it's just like if I don't like watch it after like if I don't watch or play it or whatever after the first like month or so, like spoilers are fair game.
Yeah, that's more than fair.
All right, well, a couple of in the news type stuff. Deadpool came out this weekend, and I'm gonna go see it tonight with Emily. Seth, have you gotten a chance to watch it yet?
No, but I've had pretty much everything spoiled for me on TikTok.
That sounds right. I haven't.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because like I'm now like off of like nerd TikTok now. Like as far as my algorithm goes, like I'm not getting nearly as many of like those people in my feeds anymore. I think most of them have gotten canceled by now.
Yeah. We don't hear from Straw Hat Goofy very much anymore at all.
He's actually one of the few that I actually saw.
Really?
Posted, which surprised me because he's been off my feed for a while.
Yeah, I blocked him after he was a scab during the writer strikes.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, it was funny. So Emily texted me this morning while she was at work, and she's just like, "Hey, can I get the Disney login?" And I was just like, "Yeah, sure." I had to like go searching for it. I was just like, "So what are you watching?" It's like, "I'm watching Deadpool 2. I don't remember watching it." And I was just like, "No, you've definitely watched it. It's just a very forgettable movie." And she literally like responded several hours later. It's like, "Yeah, that was a really meh movie."
I've never seen any of those movies, actually, to be honest. So
I've only seen the first one, but I was thinking while seeing clips and from the other two and this one, I kind of have that same stance that Brie you have with Harley Quinn. I'm getting real sick of the Deadpool character.
Yeah.
It's not that funny. Like after a while, like it's just like that. You can only be so like fourth wall breaking, where like it's just there's a limit to that. And I think it's now that he's like everyone's favorite, like whatever he is, like I just like I'm over it. And even my partner saw the movie yesterday and he's like, yeah, it was all right. And I was like, did you like it though? And like the way he was like, yeah, there's a lot of cameos. And he was kind of just like describing very generally. I was like, but did you like it though? And I'm still jury's still out on that.
I was about to say, I feel like
that's
the general consensus of I think comic book movies now. It's just like, yeah, that was okay.
It was what's expected, yeah.
Yeah, from the cameos that I had spoiled for me, there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, oh, I get why people would like this cameo. I get why people would like this scene. And there's stuff that even worked for me. I'm trying not to spoil it. But that's all anybody's talking about on my feed. I've seen maybe one action sequence.
Right. No,
and like
I mean, like, because like the story of like the Deadpool movies is interesting because like it was in development hell forever. Like it was basically scripts going back and forth around everything kind of thing. Like there literally had to be leaked test footage before like that movie ever got made, and so there was a lot of hype behind it because it was finally a moment where it was just like it took leaked footage for like Fox at the time to see. It's just like no, people actually want this. They want to go see this. They want to watch it. And then once that happens, okay, now we're going to over studiofy it and put in all the stuff and make it just like kind of like, okay, that was fine.
And then Disney got its hands on it.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what it's going to be like with coming from a Disney property because, Disney's gotten to the point where they're a little bit more willing to let edgier stuff happen, but also at the same time, it's still Disney. Like, they're very formulaic. It's like basically every movie is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. From what I've seen, it does still maintain the like gore and
Yeah.
shock violence that Deadpool has in those first two.
Yeah, and I was also like kind of telling Emily about like the second movie. It's just like, well, you have to remember they fired the director from the first movie, and basically just gave Ryan Reynolds full creative control, as far as I could tell, and didn't necessarily pay off in terms of like making a memorable movie.
No,
As in comparison to the first one, because the first one like was very much time and place. Like this was a thing that had a lot of hype behind it.
Mm-hmm.
well, and it also was basically a parody of what we were getting from superhero movies at that point.
And, you know, also, like, it got practically no budget. It was, like, you know, they were willing to take risks because it's just, like, and, like, you know, studio just said, like, okay, people want to see this, go ahead and make it. They didn't have a lot of studio interference and stuff like that. But, again, once it becomes, like, the biggest property in the world, then it becomes, you know, we got to min-max this thing. We got to pump every dollar we can out of it and just, yeah. So...
Yeah.
I'm going into it expecting a Deadpool movie, so hopefully, like, it's at least Deadpool-y enough. You know, I like Deadpool as a character, at least especially when they kind of understand what the character is and not, like, trying to be like, this is what people think Deadpool is. It's like, that's not really what Deadpool is.
Right. It's rated well. It's like 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, 97% audience, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it did just come out, but...
Yeah, typically with these movies, like, especially that have, like, a lot of fanfare and hype to them, like they'll come out strong at the beginning and then people will sit on it and kind of go like, was it that good?
Yeah, was it?
That's basically that's how the whole sequel trilogy of Star Wars was, is like critically well reviewed, and then people like sat on it and was just like, but was it?
Wait a second.
I don't think that's how Rise of Skywalker was.
Well, Rise
reviewed.
of Skywalker is the exception. That was basically, I don't talk about that movie.
Yeah. No, I've never seen it. I only experienced it when I played Lego The Complete Skywalker Saga.
Yeah.
That's the only way
That
I
might actually
experienced
be a better movie than Rise of Skywalker, to be completely honest. I have never been more disappointed in a movie in my life.
No. But no, we've seen that though with other Marvel movies. Like the last Spider-Man, when it came out, people were raving about it. And since then it's kind of been like, the only thing that was really good were all three Spider-Men being in the movie.
I mean, you know, the novelty wears off eventually, and like, and this is like a problem with sometimes like doing too much fan service, and especially in comic book movies, where it's just like, we want Tobey Maguire back, we want to see this, blah blah blah. It's just like, you know, once you are given what you want, you realize like maybe that's not what you should have done.
Yeah, and also with this specifically, the level of cameos and the surprisingness of some of them really makes me wonder how they're going to do that again with Secret War, I think is the next Avengers movie.
Yeah.
They're making more?
Yeah.
No,
there's two more plans.
Who's watching that?
Well, I mean, the MCU is kind of in shambles right now because of a lot of stuff, like with Jonathan Majors, like no longer being part of the projects anymore. Especially because they set him up as being the next big bad. Like, I don't even know what the hell's going on with the shows. Like, I think last thing I watched was Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and like I haven't watched anything else since.
I watched Loki, but I couldn't tell you a damn thing about it. I don't think I liked it. I don't remember. I couldn't tell you a single thing about it.
That's the thing. It's becoming less of like, you know, you would marathon like every Marvel movie before you go see the next one. Like you would rewatch them because you enjoyed them so much. Now it's like you watch them and it's just like, okay, well, that was a movie.
Yeah, it was something to have on in the background while I folded laundry.
Yeah, just. But anyways, I'm hoping I enjoy it. I'm not going to an AMC, so I probably won't be able to fuck the popcorn bucket like we planned.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Well, like, the only AMC is like all the way in Tyson's Corner, and I don't want to get on the Beltway. Do you want me to die?
I don't. Not to fuck a popcorn bucket. It's not worth it.
No.
It's not.
There are, as it turns out, a lot of different popcorn buckets depending which cinema you go to.
Yeah, I saw the one with the Regal has like the baby car seat.
Yeah, baby Deadpool in a car seat. There's
So,
I think Cinemax has Wolverine's helmet as one.
Well, that's
Well,
fun.
I'm going to Cinemark, so I'll see if they have that one there when I'm there. Assuming they haven't sold out already.
Did I say Cinemax?
You said Cinemax. You're thinking of the old days where you could watch softcore porn at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, and I watched a lot of it.
So
The olden days, truly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did not let my parents know that was on the cable box that they put in my bedroom.
That is so funny because I'm like, I would stay up late and watch anime.
I would look for the Girls Gone Wild infomercials and the softcore porn on Cinemax.
Yeah. Just
Oh, to be 13 again.
Those were the days.
hey, like all I was just like, hey, this doesn't end up on my internet search history, so my parents won't know about it.
Hey, did you ever find porn in the woods?
Okay, so this is a very fun conversation. Why does everybody have a porn in the woods story?
Everybody does.
I don't actually.
I feel like there was like a secret rite of passage of just kind of like, it's just like, here is the ceremonial cache of porn that you must donate to when you turn 16.
Yep. Yeah.
You go on a vision quest to find the porn in the woods.
Yeah, next to the bike jumps that were by the house I grew up in, there was like a wooded area that the teenagers would hang out in.
See,
and
that's
me and my
why.
friends went. Yeah.
That's why the
me and my
there.
friends went through there, and we found a bunch of empty liquor bottles and like a Playboy in a penthouse, and it was just like porn.
Yay,
Love that for you.
boobs.
Yep.
Airbrushed women, let's go.
Yeah.
The good old days. Back when like finding porn was exciting.
Yep.
It's just
Now it's just on my Instagram feed, apropos of nothing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Remember when Instagram like was really hardcore about making sure that shit didn't end up on your feed, and now like that's pretty much all my feed is anymore.
They do not care.
They
There's
don't.
no moderation at all.
I've seen full scenes
Oh yeah.
on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
now.
No, we talked about the babies like a few episodes back. Now I'm getting the ones that are like the pause game things. Where
Oh,
it's just,
yeah.
like literally just like and like they're making those pause segments way longer now.
Yeah, you don't have to pause for.
No,
a
you
lot
don't
of
have to
them.
pause. It's like, oh, hey, there's something that's definitely not supposed to be on this platform. Cool. Good to
We
know.
have different algorithms. I'm thinking. I'm like, yeah.
Uh-huh. Have you seen the ones where there'll be like a mirror set up in the background and they'll be like shot from the waist up, but then in the mirror you can see like their ass?
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
Brie is not on board with this conversation.
I don't know if it's just because I'm a pole dancer. Like I see people like mostly naked all the time anyways. Maybe I'm just like,
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, we're all people who are just like, hey, look, naked person, cool, whatever.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're so desensitized from it, whereas like other people are just like, think of the children.
I know.
Well, and I think for me it's the like shock that it's on Instagram, like you
Right.
said, a platform that
Mhm.
used to heavily monitor this stuff.
Right.
And now it's like I open Explore and it's like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, like, going back to like the Tumblr days, like, there was like kind of the thing. It's just like, oh yeah, don't like when you're in class, don't have Tumblr open on there because you're just gonna scroll past porn. Like, you had that understanding, so like that was like, don't open that platform. Instagram again, like I'm scrolling through my phone, I'm just like, like, why is that there?
Hmm. I'm in line at the bank. Why is this here?
I'm laying down next to my wife while I'm just like scrolling through, just like
That's a
like,
more appropriate place than the bank.
Well, still, like,
Arguably, yeah.
I'm just like liking photos of like motorcycles and dogs, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, well, that was a close up of something, while my wife was like looking over my shoulder.
Like, babe, please.
Look, most of her porn is written, so like she doesn't have to worry about seeing something. Like it's all like on a page on a book, as opposed to actual like visual confirmation.
That's fair. I like my porn in GIF form. I just think it's more efficient,
It used to be that way. I
the
miss
time,
I miss Tumblr porn. I miss those black and white GIFs, just like 3 seconds looping. That's all you needed.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, 3
I don't need
seconds is
plot,
all
you
I
know
ever
what I
needed.
Good. Great. How did we start talking about this?
I have no idea.
What were we talking about?
Well,
I brought up
so-
porn in the woods for some reason.
Yeah. Well, if we go back to the opening of the show, we were talking about your cat's butthole, which brought up a conversation about OnlyFans, which then has led to basically this is the porn episode.
We took a detour to talk about the actual topic, and then we came back.
Yeah.
It has been a long time for me.
He's been waiting. Jesus.
Anyway, let's get to an actual topic that's on our doc.
I am not being touched by anyone.
I'm so sorry. We're in committed relationships, so.
Yeah.
Oy.
I read a thing. I saw a headline that was like 1 out of 4 adults remain single forever. And I thought back to the last episode where all 3 of you were in relationships and I'm the
It was
4th.
just
You're like, it's me. I'm the statistic. I love that for you.
We'll get T-shirts made for, and it's just your face and it just says "Forever Alone."
Nah.
And then you're like, please no.
Yeah.
That's just like, I'm gonna veto this idea now.
Yeah. Nope.
You're not using
Got
my,
other
like,
T-shirt designs I'll approve, but not that one.
just the porn ones. Got it.
Absolutely.
Alrighty then. Well then, moving on to an actual topic that we have in the doc. Video game performers are on strike.
Yeah.
This was a thing that I think came out on Thursday, where they officially announced that they were striking. Specifically, the main concerns are around AI and the usage for performers, which is a big deal for video game performers because voice acting and they're digitizing their likenesses in a lot of different cases, and like having that stuff basically is very easy to just hand to an AI program, have it get trained on that, and have that stuff. And there's a legit usage for that. You can make dynamic NPCs who can actually more closely react and improve the immersion. But when you're using somebody's voice saying things that they didn't actually say, definitely some concerns. And the fact that after you've trained an AI on my thing, you don't actually have to pay me to do any more recordings and a bunch of other stuff that comes along with that. So I definitely in full support of them on this.
Yep.
Don't cross the picket line. I did post the Instagram thing of somebody showing, they said, given that this is being announced so close to San Diego Comic-Con, do your contractual obligated agreements and appearances and everything that you've already agreed to do. But as soon as you're done with Comic-Con, hit the picket line.
Yeah.
And so, standing with solidarity with all those folks, absolutely, your demands are absolutely 100% valid, and you definitely should be pushing against game studios doing any kind of fuckery like this.
Yeah. And hopefully
you'll
get a better deal than the actors did last year, where they just gave up at some point.
Yep.
Unfortunately. I feel like we talked about this, I think the last episode or maybe the one before that. I just I do have concerns about I feel like the general public not understanding the severity of AI. Because I would say, especially Instagram, probably a solid 40% of my feed and the stories that people post is fucking AI art. And it is honestly very easy to spot, which is so frustrating because, in fact, I have this friend who keeps sharing these beautiful art art pieces of the woods and things like that. And I was immediately, I'm like, that's AI. That's it is so fucking obvious. And they're sharing it every day. And I'm getting more and more frustrated because I'm just one, it's so fucking easy to tell now. I feel like people are oh, it looks so good. I'm like, no, pay attention. Look at it for an extra fucking second. And it's just it's theft. It is theft, and it's stealing people's art. It's stealing people's likeness. It's now stealing people's voice. That it's so fucked up.
Right.
And I mentioned last time about it's now happening to pole dancers and aerialists, and they are not nearly as concerned about it as they should be because they're oh, it's so pretty. Look at this nice dance. I'm the dancer was not compensated for this. She made this choreo and they turned it into some AI art sludge. It doesn't even fucking look good when again you look at it with a discerning eye. And yeah, they do credit the dancers sometimes, but I'm they're still not getting fucking paid. You're getting millions of likes and views on this post, and you are profiting off of somebody else's likeness. I'm hoping more things like this will make the general public aware of it because I just don't think most people are even aware that this is a thing or how prevalent it is, which is genuinely concerned. It was already concerning. It's getting even more concerning, especially now that every search engine has AI. And as I've mentioned before, always fucking wrong. I literally ran a yoga workshop last night, and I was trying to figure out one of the definitions for one of the 8 limbs of yoga. And Google spit out something to me It was completely wrong. And
Yep.
not to mention very whitewashed, which is very concerning. So I'm like, guys, we should be so fucking mad about this, but people are not mad enough.
Yeah,
No, they're not. And I'm seeing musicians be like, oh, there are these fun little things where an AI will build a song for you. And I'm like, stop doing that.
Please.
Yeah.
Like, it's serious.
No, and like the sad thing about it is, there is practical applications for AI that make sense and are actually like useful, like specifically being trained on data and being able to pull data very, very quickly and making things more efficient. I'm all for that. My problem with it is when basically you're training these things on stuff that people did not agree to, and it's their fucking livelihood that is tied to it, and that's specifically what's going on here. And I've heard some other voice actors talk about specifically their concerns, and they're saying like, look, I do not mind if you want to use my voice as like a profile for a dynamic NPC. I want to be compensated for it.
Yes.
I do not want you to just be able to use my voice, make me say whatever you want, and profit off of it without me seeing a dime of it, and having people have the ability to make me say shit I never said.
Yeah.
And that's another major concern. It's why deepfakes have become so concerning, where it's just like, I've been getting a lot of deepfake content lately from, sports coaches. Like, it looks like them just at a podium during a press conference, and they're saying shit. And you're just like, there's no way that person actually said it. And then once you realize, like, oh, this was like AI-generated deepfake, I'm just like, that is terrifying. Especially in the political climate that we're in right now, where it's just like somebody can literally come after you for saying something you never fucking said. And like, it's like there's so much kind of concerns about it. And not to mention, like, and I've said this before, like, AI is not as good at the things that people say AI is going to be great for. Like, there's, Brie, like you said, you can spot an AI image really, really quickly.
Yes.
It's not hard. And like and there's a lot of errors. My boss posted an AI image that she had made from a prompt, and there was like major spelling errors and stuff like within the graphic that was made. I'm just like, why do we keep acting like this is good? Why are we keep acting like this is the future? Because it's not.
Because tech bros are telling us it's good.
Right.
That's why.
And corporations are eating this shit up because they're getting sold on the fact it's like, how would you like to not have to pay a bunch of people to do a job they typically do?
Oh yeah, that's the biggest thing, isn't it? Because I'm like, I feel like my first thought is like, boomers always get upset about like self checkouts and stuff because they're like, oh, it's taking people's jobs, and then they're sharing all this fucking they use it every time, and they share a ton of fucking AI art. I'm like, that was somebody's job too that you are actively taking away.
But like going back to boomers,
it's art, so they don't respect it.
But like going back to boomers, I've always said it's just like you can tell that AI was designed for boomers because literally the boomers that I work for in a lot of different places literally treat me like they treat AI, where it's just like, I want you to do the XYZ thing, make thing happen. It's just like, okay. I'm just like, can I explain to you what I need in order to do that? And they're just like, no, just make it. Like,
they can't tell the difference. Like, I feel like, you look at an AI art and like, again, first glance, you could be like, oh, I guess that's pretty. And then you look just for an extra fucking second and you're like, okay, well, this is fucked up. This shouldn't be here. Like, something weird's here. But like, the boomers are the ones sharing this and like, it's freakish fucking art.
What makes it worse is just like, if I do that work, if I make a graphic, if I make a video or like write a song and stuff, and like there are the problems that AI constantly has in my work, I would get reamed for it. But because it's an AI, it's just like, yeah, it's good enough. Just put it out there. I'm just like, you gotta be. It's a big problem with AI generated articles now. It's just like there's factual errors. There's like crazy stuff. I think last week is when I had the example of somebody's like older article basically resurfacing because AI just took it, reworded everything, and still put their name on it. I'm just like,
yeah.
It's just like, I haven't written anything in like 20 years. Also, what the fuck? And it's just all contributing to just like basically the internet just being a hellscape at this point.
There's no escape.
No. We're stuck.
Yeah. Anyways,
hate it here.
Descending spiral down to fucking terrible content.
Yeah, I am hoping the video game performers strike, because like this is only like a small portion of what they do. They can, hold the line a little harder on it.
Yeah.
And, indie studios probably aren't going to have much of a problem because they don't have the money to pay for performance anyways. So like they probably weren't using a lot of voice acting, and like this is gonna have more of an impact on bigger AAA studios and stuff like that. So like I'm okay with that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So yep. Don't cross the picket line. We don't cross picket lines here. Stay strong, stay in solidarity, all that good stuff.
I've had to turn down so many voice acting gigs this week.
And you just got a nice microphone too.
I know. Terrible timing. Everything bad is happening to me.
And only you.
Everything is going down Millhouse.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. So, anyways, leading into kind of another topic, we're bringing back our show and tell segment.
Yes.
So
I'm so excited because I like this a lot.
So we're just going to go round table style and just basically just do a quick little show and tell about something that we just really like, think's really cool, and we just really want to talk about because we think we're interesting.
Yes. I forgot to grab my thing, so give me 1 second.
That's
Go
fine.
grab it.
Well, since you
I'm
grabbed
back.
your thing, I'm going to let you go first, Seth.
Ah, damn it. It's my original 2002 master replica of Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber.
That's
from Attack
actually
of the
really
Clones.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It used to have a blade, but the LEDs in it broke, so I took it apart and took the blade off, and now it's just this.
Still pretty neat.
Yeah, I like it.
I can imagine what it looks like.
Yeah, you can knock someone out with this too.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
heavy.
no, trust me.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Emily actually got me a Force Sabers saber. It's actually sitting next to the thing. The batteries have been dead in it forever. I probably need to go get those replaced. But, like, yeah, no, like, that thing, you know, it's just like somebody breaks into my apartment and it's the closest thing next to me. It's just like, I think I'm going to be all right.
Yeah. All those guns, and you're gonna grab a lightsaber.
Well, the guns, like, are all locked up safely away, and, you know, where, you know, if a child's in my apartment, I don't know why that child would be in my apartment, and, you know, they don't accidentally shoot themselves.
Ideally, that would be great.
Yeah.
Proper gun safety, people.
Please, thank you.
So, yeah, no, that's really cool. Good visual gag, Seth, for the
Thank you.
for the audio,
For the audio
listener.
format.
For the audio
Perfect.
listeners, Seth did the Luke Skywalker thing of getting his father's lightsaber and immediately pointing it directly toward its face. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bree, what do you want to show off today?
You know, it's so funny because I was like, what the fuck did it was so long since we did that. I was like, I don't remember what I showed last time, but I decided to go a slightly different route. And I don't know if you'll recognize these at all, but I have ugly dolls. And
Oh.
and here's the thing, because I don't know if y'all know this, they don't make them like this anymore, which is very
really?
sad. So these are like the original ugly dolls. I have this one. I actually have a ton of them, to be honest. And they don't make them like this anymore because some corporation bought out the rights to ugly dolls, and they made a very shitty movie, which I never saw it, but I just looked it up, and it was like terrible, awful rated, but they made them a lot cuter to make it fun for the kids. So now these are like collector's items because you cannot get these versions anymore. And I'm doubly very sad because unfortunately, my ex bought me a lot of ugly dolls, and I sold all the ones that he bought me right before that movie came out, and I can no longer recover those, and they are a lot more expensive now, and I'm so sad. But yeah, I think this one's name is Dave. Oh yeah, Dave Dorinko is his name, and I just think they're really cute and funny, and I literally have like a whole display shelf of them, and I wish they would still make them like these because I would still buy them. But that's
I like
what
these have
have.
become your TY Beanie Babies of just like, you know, you bought them and just like, it's like they're going to be so valuable one day.
Yeah.
And, like,
But
those
the opposite. You bought them being like, and now they're really
I just really
valuable.
like them. And like now they actually have a value.
Yeah, exactly. So, this one's the original one. His name is Minimum Wage, and he wears a little apron.
I love that.
I love it.
So I just, RIP to original Ugly Dolls because they were way cuter. That like, if you ever get a chance, look up the new ones because they are hideous, just like corporate abominations. And I'm sad about
they literally
it.
got uglier.
They did, but like they tried to make them more like family friendly because I guess these were too aggressive.
I
which
wouldn't
is
give
sad.
that to my 3-year-old.
No, because it's for me, a 34-year-old.
Yeah. It reminds me of Foster's Home from Imaginary Friends. I don't know if you guys watched that back in the day.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Kind of has a very similar like minimalist aesthetic.
Yes, I just think they're super cute and I love them and I'm gonna hold on to them for dear fucking life because I can't get any more.
No.
All right, so my show and tell is maybe a little bit more me and Seth coded because we are who we are. But
It's
this
the
is
porn
me.
you
Is
found
it
in the
porn?
woods.
Is it wood porn?
So this is the porn from the woods. No, this is
God, I wish.
I don't have any more of my woods porn. I think I got rid of it all. I think I put it back in the I put it back in the economy. That is the woods
Yeah.
porn.
It's part of the soil now.
Yeah. It's just like as soon as I got the pages sticky enough, it was time to retire them.
Oh.
I'm going to hell for that joke.
Yes.
anyways, this is Nancy. This is the guitar I got when I was 16. All those years ago. It was a gift from my aunt. Started its life as a Squier Stratocaster standard.
Okay.
It was used when she got it, so I don't actually know what year it was made. But it's pre 2010 at least, around when I got it. I think 2009 is when I got this guitar.
Okay.
Definitely did some abusive things to her back in the day, things I've tried to atone for over time. There's definitely a lot of wear and tear in parts of her body, but as I talked with Seth about, I recently replaced the fretboard with some EMG pickups. I believe this is the I'm blanking on the name, but
David Gilmour.
Yeah, David Gilmour signature one. So it's just all single coil pickups active. So I had to include a 9-volt battery underneath here. I did have to do a little extra work because the hole that leads to basically the input was too small to run the wires through.
Oh.
So I actually
for the
did have
quick
to
connect.
drill underneath to get a channel going, but ended up being perfectly fine. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Okay. Very nice.
I was really concerned after I did this because I also bought some new cables and plugged them into my interface and tried to get it to work and wasn't getting any sound. And so I was freaking out for a minute. It's like, oh God, I fucked it up.
Oh no.
And then I swapped out for like a shitty 16-year-old cable that I bought out of Hastings like way back in the day. And that cable worked just fine. So,
Oh, okay.
Moral of the story is don't buy new stuff if you have perfectly crappy stuff lying around that still works.
Absolutely.
It's been great. It basically feels like a brand new guitar since I started, doing it again, and it's gotten me to the point where I want to start actually maybe writing my own music for the first time.
That'd be cool.
I've been doing music since I was 8 years old, so I've been doing that, but I've never actually written anything. So it'd be kind of a new thing. I've always been more of like a jam band, like improv artist when it comes to music. Like I know how to read music, but I have no desire to write. Music theory bores me.
A guitar player who knows how to read music, that's not something I've ever seen before.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. But no, so it's been really fun. And then I recently bought a bass guitar as well.
Yeah, you sent me the picture of that.
Yeah, because I'm financially responsible, people.
Yep.
You have adult money.
I'm so good with money, guys. I'm never going to own a home or have retirement or anything like that, but like, God, am I so good with money.
Yeah.
Listen, that's what you gotta do. Like, life is exhausting, and yeah, we are never gonna afford our own homes or retire. I'm sure I mentioned this before, but I'm like, I saw on Twitter somewhere, I'm like, I'm gonna work till noon on the day of my funeral. So, we want to make sure that we buy silly little things that bring us just a small, tiny bit of joy because life's exhausting.
Yeah.
Very.
No, it's very funny. Emily is definitely very much on the, like, we need to be saving up to, like, eventually own a home, and I'm just like, Emily, I love you. I want to do it too, but like we're basically just gonna have to wait until one of us has a pair of parents that both die at the same time.
Ultimately, unfortunately, it's like until then, trinkets. We got my trinkets.
Well, like it sucks that like
trinkets.
every like financial guru online always basically is just like you should basically be spending money on nothing. You should not own anything. Every single penny needs to go to paying off all your debt and going into a savings account and then eventually building up assets. And it's just like, so you want me to just not have any joy in my life? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why nobody's financially literate anymore, because we're still using the same fucking financial advice from like 1920.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, your rent should only be 30% of what you make, and you
Yeah.
need to save 50% of your paycheck. That's not the fucking world we live in. Like,
No.
gas is like $5 here, so it's just like,
also,
no, sorry, dude.
Yeah, if I have
Maybe
another
the
person come up with me, it's
1920s
like,
is
well,
not the
Dave
time
Ramsey
period.
says. I was just like, if you use that name,
Oh,
I'm just gonna
don't
punch.
even.
I'm gonna punch you in the face as hard as I would punch Dave Ramsey if he was in front of me right now.
Oh my god. And that's the people that give advice. It's these old fucking white dudes. We're like, well,
Oh,
you know, when my dad gave me a startup of $100,000,
So
like,
what-
and I did it on
It's
my
like,
own.
so what you do is your dad gives you $500,000. And I was just like,
Exactly.
It's like, dude, like when I turned 18, my dad stole $3,000, which was all I had in my bank account. So what makes you think I was getting $500,000 from him?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like, I don't think you understand how actual people work.
Yeah. Where I like now people say it all the time. I'm like, it's not like you're like one paycheck away, one savings away from being a millionaire. I'm one calamity away from being homeless. So like I'm always way closer to that than the alternative.
Like, I am a car breakdown, vet bill randomly, or having to go to the hospital. Basically, that is what my saving account is basically built for right now. It's just like,
absolutely.
It's literally just worst case scenario. It is not in any kind of shape to be like purchasing a $500,000 house that cost like less than 100,000 like 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, and not to mention, like, I don't know if you all have been hearing about this, but like, what's been happening now is because the housing market is so competitive that people are foregoing inspections because otherwise they won't be able to get the house. So now they're buying.
That's not going to bite them in the ass.
Well, that's it, and I get it too, because like it sucks, but like you're like, I need a place to live, and this is the only way I could do it. So now you bought a stupid expensive house that is way, costs way more than it's worth, and then
and you
get
have no idea what the problems are going to be.
100%, 100%. I'm just like, oh, cool. Yeah, this is dystopia. This is great. We've made it, friends.
So, anyways, we're in the anti-capitalism portion of the show.
Finally.
I am very much looking forward to my Burger King tomato soup I got to go make later.
Yum, yum.
The worst part about this is I don't even know if that's a joke.
Oh, no. Well, I've eaten it before, but not tonight. I saved up and I got a pack of Shin ramen, the $1.50 ramen.
That's the good
my,
stuff.
my.
I get that in bulk
roller.
at the Korean market, actually. If, like, that's basically mine and Emily's default. Like, it's just like, all right, so it's chicken nuggets and Shin ramen tonight. Let's go. Crack an egg in there, call it a day.
Yep.
Very elevated. I like that.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do just to, It's like, this only cost me $3, but, it's $3 that could have gone to a house, damn it.
Yeah. That's all those Starbucks and avocado toast that we buy all the time, friends.
It's like, you're getting
Dang
fancy
it.
with Shin ramen, you need to be doing the top ramen, the, like, 20-cent shit. As a matter of fact, don't even buy that. Just buy the cardboard it comes in.
Eat saltines. That's all you can afford.
Yep.
Idiot.
I can't afford a full box of saltines. Is there a place that sells them cracker by cracker?
This is why I shop at Aldi.
Happy times
Yeah.
living in America.
Good timeline.
Yes, best one.
Yep.
So good. So glad Harambe died for this.
I'm glad he's not here to see it, to be
I
honest.
was about to say, Harambe would be disappointed in us, I think.
He really would.
Yeah. I just wish he had killed that kid. At least make it a little worth it for him. You
Hey,
know?
Seth's just saying the quiet part out loud, that's all.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Unfortunately, due to my comments, Tenacious D will be breaking up again.
I will not be appearing on Seth's album anytime soon, guys. I'm sorry.
We're canceling the Australia tour.
I need you to send me that microphone back, Seth.
Okay. Is that fair? I still got the box. It's fine.
It's whatever. Anyways, so that kind of leads us to the end of the show. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
I don't care about Comic-Con.
What else is
Yeah.
new?
Same. It was my dream to go there at one point,
Yeah.
like a
Same.
past me, and I'm just like, I forgot that was still happening, to be honest. So
Yeah, we had the conversation in the pre-show. Thanks for bringing it back up, Seth. But like, yeah, I was looking at a video from the Associated Press on opening day of Comic-Con, and like, it was open. The floor was open. I don't know if it was like just early access holders, but like, the floor was dead.
Mhm.
Like, like it looked like some of the smaller cons that I've been to, where it's just like, yeah, there's people moving and like at the vendors and everything, but like it used to be, especially back in the day, like Seth, you and me were both G4 kids. Like, they would do their live coverage from Comic-Con and the crowds were massive and
Oh,
huge. And it's
huge.
just like,
Mhm.
and like now it's just like, I was just like, wow, there's like no one there.
I'm interested to see the ticket sales because I remember when I was actually trying to go, like you couldn't even buy a ticket outright,
No.
really. Like you'd have to be on a wait list to maybe get a ticket, and you have to
Yeah.
like sign up for it like a year ahead, pretty much.
I would say during like Phase 2 of Marvel was when they were probably at peak, because like
Hmm.
any Hall H thing was where big announcement had. But we were talking about it pre-show. I was looking at IGN. I was just like, is there any news coming out of Comic-Con? And like, not really. Nothing groundbreaking. It's mostly
Hmm.
just shows being like, hey, we're getting a season 2 and 3. Like, I was just like, okay, Has-Been Hotels renewed for seasons 3 and 4. It's just like, okay, that makes
I did see that.
Oh,
That's
I did
nice.
not know that.
well, it's
That is
like it's
cool.
like that's nice, but that's not like oh my god, they're doing this. It was more or less just like, yeah, no, it's successful enough. Like, it would make sense that they would get that, and like a couple of other things, like, oh, we're doing another Doctor Who spinoff, and I was like, do we care?
Yeah.
Just
I don't.
yeah. Well,
I'm not a Doctor Who person. My boyfriend really wants me to be, but I don't think I like it. So maybe one day.
I love the first 5-ish seasons. After that,
Mhm.
I really dropped off hard.
I was about to say I probably got halfway through Matt Smith's run before I dropped off.
That's about when the writing starts getting real bad.
Moffat.
Yep. Hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, but like it's really interesting. I know like part of this is basically related to like the pandemic, obviously like big giant gatherings like this kind of shut down over time.
Mhm.
I think like they did a San Diego Comic-Con last year, I believe.
Yeah,
Or at least like
I think so.
yeah, there was like at least other previous ones, but like it seems like this entire like concept like just hasn't recovered from that, and I don't know if it ever will.
It seems expensive to go. So I wonder if people just can't afford to go to something like that anymore. Like,
Maybe.
I mean, it would be nice if people are finally kind of getting wise to like it's a little overly expensive to do for the most part, because like one, you have
It's
to
the
book.
hotel. It's the
Yeah,
travel.
yeah, the travel, you
yeah.
have to book the hotel, you actually have to get in there, all that kinds of stuff. And like, sporting events have this problem too, where basically it's just like, yeah, no, just to get in the nosebleeds, you have to pay like $3,000. I was just like, who the fuck's gonna pay for that?
Yeah, it's $80
Yeah.
a day. That's a lot of money for a convention.
Yeah.
$80 a day.
$80 used to
Yeah.
be like a whole weekend pass, like
I
for
know.
like
I'm just
Yeah.
like,
for
I
like
couldn't.
when we did
Yeah.
Denver. Well, granted, we got free passes for Denver, but still.
Yeah.
You were media,
didn't pay for that.
Yeah, we were. It was like we were big deals back in the day, guys.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, big deals. We saw Gwendolyn Christie from afar and she waved at us.
Hey, LeVar Burton told you suck.
It's true. And
I-
we did have a very nice conversation with Max Brooks.
That is true.
We did
Oh,
it,
the good
friends.
old days. But yeah, no, like I have very little interest in doing a San Diego Comic Con trip anytime soon.
No,
Yeah.
I'd maybe go to a local convention, and even then, in fact, I actually just C2E2 was not that long ago, and I like totally forgot about it. And then
Yeah.
my brother's like, "Are you going?" I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no."
Yeah, I was saying.
I forgot that existed.
Yeah, I was seeing some cosplay photos coming out of C2E2. It made me think of you, Brie, but I was just like, I don't think Brie did C2E2 this year. She at least didn't talk about it.
I constantly forget about it, and yeah, honestly, even like I just don't love giant crowds anyways, and I think
Yeah.
even more like post quarantine and things, I'm just like, I'm like, I don't want a panic attack right now on purpose, so I think I'll just skip that.
Yeah,
I don't like going to the
Yeah.
grocery store, so I don't want to go to a convention center. So
Yeah, my sister and brother-in-law were in town last week, and they were staying in National Harbor for a conference that my brother-in-law was doing, and they were staying at the Gaylord, which is like the big hotel that like typically hosts KatsuCon and MacFest, which were like the two big cons that happen in the area.
Mhm.
I was just like, should we go to those this year? And like Emily seemed a little bit more excited about the idea. She didn't know about MacFest. It's like PC gaming conference. Like they do like LAN parties, and like you see your normal like furries and maybe some like video game people, and that's about it. But like Katsucon's like the first like big anime con of the year, and so like a lot of big cosplayers typically show up to that. But like otherwise, it's just like I'm not much of an anime person, so it's just like not a huge amount of interest.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then Albuquerque Comic Con's gone off the fucking rails.
Oh
Has
no.
You want to know who the marquee guest was for this year?
Sure.
Kevin Spacey.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
That's nice.
Oh, what a choice.
Big name to get.
That's a selling point to go to Albuquerque Comic Con to meet Kevin Spacey.
Come to Albuquerque Comic Con and meet a sexual predator.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's mostly VidCon now at this point, too, isn't it?
Oh my fuck. How hard is it to not sexually assault people? Like genuinely asking for every man that has a like modicum of power. I just feel like it's every other week. And I meant to mention this before, but the Twitch community I used to be a part of, so many they got big names. Oh my god, so many fucking people on Twitch are sexual predators, and it's like people who again are not even big. Like they're people that were like coming up on Twitch with like my partner and things, like people with like 1,000 subscribers, and then they were using that power to like sleep with their fans. I'm like, nobody should be doing this, but I'm like, you're not famous. What are you doing?
Like if you're going to at least hold out until you've got a bigger following and more choice of victims.
Yeah, like I've more or less resigned myself. Like if there's ever like any kind of internet personality, YouTuber, TikToker, streamer, whatever that like I used to watch, it's just like, hey, I wonder what happened to them. It's just like I'm just gonna assume something bad and not look into it.
That's probably the best, honestly.
If they disappeared off the face of the planet, I assume it's for a reason.
The best case scenario is literally they went to rehab. Like, that's the best case scenario.
Exactly.
That was
just like, I had a huge drug problem and I needed to fix it. It's just like, you know what? Okay, fair enough. It's just like, all right. It was just like, oh, I was DMing 16-year-old girls. I was just like, oh, well, you're a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, are you Toby Turner and you don't go to rehab and you just become a gigantic monster?
Yeah, geez.
Yeah, as soon as we get
I have a picture with him. I hate that.
We've talked about that on the show. No, as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're ending the show. Just so you guys know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have to. That's the only way.
It's our moral obligation.
It's like as soon as we start receiving DMs, it's over. We're just like, nope.
Yeah.
We're down.
At least you two, I could probably stay on. So.
Yeah, that's
you
fine.
Probably get
you can talk to all the 16-year-old girls you want, Brie. Get the ukulele out. Let's go.
Yep. Can you play uke? You're gonna need that skill.
I'm gonna have to. I am a white woman. I probably should, to be honest.
I was about to say blue hair, the cats,
millennial,
all the stuff, like the astrology stuff. It's just like the ukulele is just like part of it.
Yeah.
But going back to DMs, I have on TikTok, I specifically have it that only people I follow who follow me or friends can message me on there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hit 5,000 followers on that, and every single day I get a notification from TikTok being like, "Are you sure you don't want to open your DMs to everybody?"
Like, absolutely the fuck not.
I've never been more sure of anything in my life.
And every day I gotta click that X and just like let me into my DMs. Come on.
Yep.
Please. Oh no.
There was like one that I think was like a few weeks ago. I think his name was Stretch, who like, people found his, he was on a gay OnlyFans account at some point.
I did not have sexual relations with that man. Except probably.
Well,
okay, I did.
Well, the funny thing is, it's like I started seeing people talking about it, and like it's just like everybody's mad at Stretch all of a sudden. I was just like, what? Okay, first off, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Second of all, like, what's going on? I'm just like, it took me forever to figure it out, and like it was just like, was they DMing again? Were they DMing 16-year-old girls or whatever? And then it's just like, he was on an OnlyFans account, showing him with another man. I was just like, that is literally like. Okay. That took over my For You page for a second because a lot of people were like, this is what the gaming community is getting upset about. He's gay. Like, and he wasn't promoting OnlyFans at all. Yeah, it was like, Twitch. I think he did like a while back as a consenting adult. And I'm just like, yeah, I do not.
And they were freaking out about it, like his fan base and everything. And they're like, Didn't another Twitch streamer just get caught DMing an underage child?
Yeah.
And
saying,
this
like,
is what you're getting upset about?
That's best case scenario, because I like when you were starting to say that, I thought you were gonna say Cody Ko, because I know he was caught. I was like, I lose fucking track because this is every other fucking week. I'm like,
I think there's also like
stop.
now there's like Mr. Beast allegations, which I've never watched Mr. Beast, but like
that
he's like the
anybody
biggest
who hoards that much wealth and makes people hop through hoops to get some of it is probably a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, like his entire content basically has been like, I absolutely find zero appeal in this, and then finding out something also might be a piece of shit person. It's just like, that's shocker.
Oh my god. I just think it's so easy to not interact with minors and not sexually assault people. Like I just like in my general life, very easy. In fact, I'd never come across it. So just how does this keep happening?
So like I do flag football on Sundays, and we were waiting for the first game to get done before we started, and then somebody's kid just starts like coming around to us, and we're just like, where the hell is your parents? Like it's literally everybody's first reaction. It's like, that should literally just be the standard. It's just like, if there's an underage person around you who you don't know, first thing is just like, where are your parents?
Yeah. I just hit him with a stick and then run. Just whack, take off.
So Seth gets canceled for beating random people's kids. Got it.
Yep.
Also, just like get identification if you're not sure. Like lots of people say they're 19. Get the documentation. You know what I mean? Like, just like at this point, just fucking do it. It's not that hard. It's one extra step.
Brie has a leather couch at the studio, and like anytime like a new student comes in, it's just like, hey, can we see your ID? So how old are you?
They're all 18, so I'll have you know.
Just ignore the camera in the corner. It's fine.
Also something I want on the internet. Thanks. Good. Good.
This has not been a good episode for Brie.
No, and I didn't do anything.
But she hasn't quit yet, though.
And not today.
You were 10 minutes late, and that's why
Fuck you. I hate you both. I'm not gonna quit, but just for spite. You know what I mean? Just for spite.
She just does this show so she could torture us somehow.
Exactly.
She's just going to show us her cat's butthole. That's basically her form of torture.
She's taking notes on us that she's going to give to the feds.
Yeah.
No question.
I need you to check these guys' DMs.
Yes. So, just how do you feel about underage girls? What would you say?
I avoid them at all costs.
Just real chill question that everybody asks. You know, hey.
Standard normal podcast question. A little louder.
But these days it is.
Hey, look, you can check my internet search history. All my porn is exclusively MILFs.
You love that.
Mostly because it's just now age appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, we did good today, friends. We did real good.
Yeah. I feel we really are on the moral high ground with this one.
This is definitely going to be an episode that I be to make sure that my bosses can't find.
Oh shit! The digital footprint.
I mean, look, our presidential candidates. Like, does it matter anymore?
I don't want to. I want to
Too
think
soon?
about that.
Well, way to bring down the mood.
Let's talk about underage kids again. How's that? Is that better?
That was a much more uplifting topic.
What a nightmare this is.
Anyways, so Brie, what's our next homework assignment?
Great question. It's so funny because like last time I was like, oh, I'm so glad Meg's here because I can't think of anything. I'll have more time to think of something. And here I am.
Go watch Game Birds. Got it.
Yes. I will say, I don't know if this is like totally out of left field or if this would work or not. I guess we picked random movies, but my favorite movie when I was a teenager was The Prestige, and I have not seen it in like a long time. So if we could just do that, I want to see if it still holds up. I would like to watch that. So
yeah, I'm up for that. I've never seen it before, so I'm up for it.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Then yeah, The Prestige.
Yeah, that's one of those movies where like I've only ever seen like clips and pieces. I don't think I've ever sat down and like watched the whole movie.
There was a movie that came out like immediately after it that was extremely and a lot of people said that was better. They're wrong, but
it's like why look at Edward Norton when you can look at Hugh Jackman? I don't get it.
And Christian Bale. So okay, cool. Then, yeah, The Prestige. Let's hit it.
All right, cool.
Nice.
Sounds good. So that'll be our next homework assignment. Anyways, Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Internet Friends. I know we went off the rails this week, but honestly, that's how I like to run the show anyways.
Yes.
This is what happens when Brie doesn't get producer credits.
Yeah.
It's true. It's so true.
Anyways, I'm TCK Media on most platforms. You can find me on YouTube. I'm occasionally stream, but you will also find our shorts and this video on there, as well as any platforms that do podcast type things, words. Anyways, we got that Seth23 who you can find on the TikToks. He's currently.
I'm sorry.
I just gave him a microphone, so hopefully he starts doing more music stuff soon.
Yeah.
And then
I'm writing.
And then you got Raccoonaloon herself, Brie. You could find her over on TikTok sometimes, or sometimes Instagram. Not really.
Good luck.
Monthly post.
She's avoiding Twitch because she doesn't want to look at her 16-year-old DMs right now.
110%.
Anyways, but you can catch her on Game Birds. It's a great indie game podcast that she does with her friend. They come out on Mondays. And anyways, thank you so much. Monday. Every other Monday. Basically, like when this show comes out, you can probably find Game Birds.
Yes.
And appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.